Hi everyone. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Um, just been busy over the summer with kids and stuff. You know how it is. If you have any kids, you'll know it's hard to keep them all entertained and stuff. So I just haven't had much time. So I just thought I would try to get a video up. So I'm doing one now. And I have a few things in my ideas in my head that I do feel the Lord has spoke to me about, but this one sort of jumped out at me, and I felt I needed to, put it forward to, you know, put it out there, basically, and I know here in Northern Ireland, they're now trying to scrap the RE system, which is religious education, um, where kids get taught, the values of Christianity, of God, going to church, singing hymns in the morning and assembly. I'm sure we all remember doing that. I remember doing it. I remember in my school diary you would have had hymns, uh, but they really are trying to push now to get that removed so that it's no longer going to be in schools anymore. Um, I know I had said this, I think, one of my earlier videos, that this would sort of happen eventually, and it is happening. I know in America, most parts of America now, that's the norm now. I think that's pretty much standard. But over here, it's pretty big because you know our country is steeped in Christianity, and it's always been a Christian country. It's never really been divided as such in that way of things. Um, but now obviously we have a lot of different cultures coming in, and I think this is what's happening. But I think this is a recipe for disaster, because there's very few courts now over here that will make you swear on the Bible. You know what you see in the movies, and they put the hand on the Bible and swear by Almighty God to tell the truth and the whole truth and all that there. Well, that there's not sort of applicable now in most courts. Unless you want to swear in the Bible, you can ask for it. Um, the other thing was as well is that they used to, if you went to a doctor's surgery or the hospital, and your wee bedside locker you had for putting your personal possessions in, you would have had a Gideon's Bible. Um, now that there now apparently is no longer a thing now as well. They want all that removed. Most hospital wards now don't actually have a Gideon's Bible, but I remember actually every locker, every locker in beside your bed in hospital would have had one. I remember getting the book, we read Book of Psalms. I think I have it up upstairs somewhere, and you would have got that in first year of high school, and that was given to you. That there's going to no longer, and I just think that they've just took God out of courts, they've took God out of schools, they've took God out of everything, and then when everything goes haywire and falls apart, they're going, what's happening? What's going on? Is because they have taken the Creator out of everything. They have tried to do their own way. They have tried to do things man's way, which is never a good. It's never a good thing because it always ends up in disaster. So I just thought I'd read you a few verses. It's just pretty straightforward, short verses. I like to keep it short and sweet because nobody really has much time, I'm sure, these days, so I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. But the first verse I'm going to read is Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, and it says, train up a child in the way he should go, teaching him to seek God's wisdom and will for his abilities and talents. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. That verse is absolutely spot on because there's things that I was taught from a very, very young age, and it's always stuck with me even now to this day. My eldest child, he remembers me teaching him, and he's now, well, he's almost 16 now, and he remembers all those things, and it's very important. And the reason why I'm saying about the schools is because, they take God out of schools, right? There's no more of that. And they go home to their house, their parents, and their parents don't, they're not Christians. They don't want nothing to do with it. So the child gets older, becomes a man or a woman, and they've never set foot inside of a church. How are they supposed to know the love of God? How are they supposed to know who Jesus is or what he done? Because most people think now Christmas is about getting presents. Most people think Easter is about getting eggs and chocolate. And people say, well, that's our job to preach. But you can't do that now anymore. You're not allowed to preach on the street. It's seen as hate speech. You'd be arrested for that now. I know people that have actually been arrested. That's called hate speech. So if you're not allowed to do it in schools, you're not like, how are you supposed to get the word out there to them? It's going to make it extremely difficult, isn't it? There's a lot of kids these days and they've never seen the inside of a church. They've never heard the Bible. They've never heard of God's love. And I think it's a shame. There's a lot of kids upbringing where I am in Belfast, and you sort of know what type of a home they're from by the way they get on. And it's very sad. And that's not me, by the way, looking my nose down on anybody. I'm just saying you can tell, you know. And I think it's very important that if they can't get God's love at home, if they're not seeing that, some children, as a Christian from me, you're probably the only Bible they'll ever read. The other verse I'm going to quickly read out here is Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 6, and it says, "These words which I am commanding you today shall be written on your heart and mind. You shall teach them diligently." I can hardly pronounce the word diligently. Pretty much preach them all the time. I think that's the short version I'd try to your children, impressing God's precepts on their mind and penetrating their hearts with his truths, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the road, and when you lie down, and when you get up. You're to teach your children. Sorry about the pronunciation, sir. It's getting a bit like okay, my excuse is I haven't got my glasses on. Anyway, yeah, you're to teach your kids. You're to show them. You're to set an example. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that I am a perfect example. I have a lot to go yet. I mean, in terms of showing, I'm making mistakes all the time, but I'm trying, and I hope my kids can see from some part of example of me that what God is, in terms of his love and what Jesus done for them on the cross. I hope they have enough knowledge for when they're older, they'll understand that when their friends ask them, what's this all about, they can answer. They'll know parts of the Bible. They'll be able to, so hopefully I've set a bit of a foundation down for them, and it's up to the Holy Spirit, obviously, to try and nurture that, because we have a responsibility. Grandparents, uncles, aunts, we all have a responsibility. Even as parents and all, we have a responsibility to our children. If you are in a position where you can teach your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, that is your responsibility in the eyes of God, and you will have to give an account for that someday, as hard as that may be to hear that. The last verse here I'm going to just read it quickly is Matthew chapter 19 verses 14. "But he said, leave the children alone, and do not forbid them from coming to me, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." We're not to hinder children from coming to God. We're not to try and put obstacles in their course and go, "Oh, why would you want to do that for? It's a load of rubbish." You know what I mean? They're a bump, they're a bunch of Bible bashers, and sure, let's look at the news. What people has done. You can't tar everybody with the same brush. You can't tar everybody with the same brush. It's like anything in life. There's good and bad. There's people there who think they're Christians, and they're probably far from it. They just like to look the part. But God knows the heart. He knows what's going on inside. He knows if they're genuine or they're not. And I just wanted to share this. I've went on a wee bit longer than normal, but I just thought it was very important because, we're going to get to the day and age where it's going to be hard. I mean, it even said in 2 Timothy, that in the last days, the children will be disobedient to their parents, unthankful. They'll just be complete, and that's what we're seeing. Sorry, my light's flickering here, so what is it? I think the bulb needs changed. Um, uh, and that's what we're seeing in society, aren't we? So I just thought I'd share this. I hope this has maybe helped or put a bit of food for thought, as usual, as I always say. But it's definitely interesting times we're coming into now. I know that. So anyway, I will catch you in the next video. If you have liked this video, please hit the subscribe button, share it on, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, thanks. Bye.